Welcome to the Feminine Mistake Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nicole, and today I'm joined by
Hillary,
Sarah,
and Jackie.
Today we'll be wrapping up our discussion of the film I, Tonya, starring Margot Robbie and Allison Janney. So let's get into it.
The house is a mess, Jack. The kids are a mess, Jack. You're a mess, Jack.
You have been a total bitch ever since you came to New York.
You seem sort of distant.
Let's just do it, huh?
You look stupid and rich. Stupid and rich.
Fascist.
All right, let's get into it.
But the thing about the coach, Diane is her name, I think, right?
Yeah, Diane.
Diane seemed to accept her for who she was to a certain extent. I felt like.
But wanted to change her to be a better competitor was what she said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She wanted her to be a better ice skater, I felt like she was trying to get her to like find the balance between who she really needed to be and what the ice skating world wanted her to be. And I felt like she was like, if you could just compromise a little bit on some of this kind of stuff.
If you could just dial down the ZZ Top at Skosh.
Yeah, just a little.
take off the blue nail polish.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. That's the stupidest
But I wanted
complaint.
her to be full Tanya. Like, I really, I kind of wanted her to be full Tanya. And this was the thing I was asking myself was like, should you change who you are to be more like everyone else to compete? Or should you just go out there? Like, is our uniqueness something that makes us stand out? You know what I mean? Like,
It's a hard
I think
thing
this
to
is something
answer.
actors struggle with too. Like, actors are like, there's nothing more frustrating than trying to figure out what box you fit into and try to fit into that box. Like, I am mom who is having trouble with her detergent. Like, that's my box.
I think
you know?
out of all the other times in history right now, it's more okay to be unique and weird and stuff in all areas. I mean, there's still some professions where you have to fit into these boxes, but I feel like now
especially
more
with
than in the
women,
past.
it seems like it's not, because it's like it's totally an image thing. And this is like, I want to bring up the fur coat again because we didn't really talk too much about it, but
that was a
basically
great scene, though.
the coach is like, she needs a fur coat. It's like all about the image. Like, it doesn't, it's like,
Right.
she's
but I'm not getting her a fur coat.
she's like, I'm not getting it. So her dad kills a bunch of rabbits.
Yeah.
And skins them.
Yeah. And then her mom sews her a fur coat. But
Yeah.
that fur coat
Does her
looked
mom
dope.
sew it?
I have
Or does Tanya sew it?
I don't know.
Probably Tanya.
Probably
sewed
Tanya.
it for all
I don't
know.
see her mom as much of a sewer
Probably
person.
Tanya.
Yeah.
Well, no, she said she sewed all her costumes as a child.
Oh,
she
well
did
then,
as
so
a
maybe
child
she made
sew
the
all
fur
her
coat.
costumes.
And that's an unverified thing too. They said they couldn't verify if she had a rabbit fur coat or not.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that was.
I just thought it
invented
was
for
making.
the
She was
movie.
like, I have a fur coat now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when she said, didn't she say that to Jeff on their first date? She's like, I have a fur coat, and he's like,
Yeah.
we're poor.
Yeah.
And then it took me. I don't know why I didn't notice this at first, but I realized halfway through the movie that all the interviews with her mom with the bird, her mom is also wearing a fur coat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the bird keeps nipping at her ear too. Oh my god! I was like, oh my god.
That's what our bird does. Our bird looks almost like that.
Yeah.
Our bird is a green cheek conure, and that was like some other type of conure, but our bird is about that size. Looks the same.
Yeah.
Sarah
she likes
Hodges,
to-
expert on birds.
She likes to nip at my mom's ears too, and she goes, "Stop it."
But back to what you were saying
Yeah.
real quickly, like, should we just be who we are
Yeah.
and say screw it
Yeah.
and just try to beat all barriers? And like,
Yeah.
I think that's a really big point to bring up, because while I say yes, go for it, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I do think to a certain extent in life you have to play the game
Mm-hmm.
to get to the point where, and I'm going to use somebody as an example who I really like.
Yeah.
Pink, for
Okay.
example. Okay. Who I think is amazing and awesome.
Yeah.
And I really respect her music a lot. You think about Pink when she first came out.
Yeah.
And she had the pink hair and she was doing the pop music.
Yeah.
That Pink and today's Pink are completely two different people.
That's true.
Completely two
Yeah.
different people.
Yeah.
And now she sings the song she wants to sing. She says she looks the way
Yeah.
she wants to look. She dresses the way she wants to dress. Like, she doesn't give a shit about what anybody thinks, or at least
Yeah.
that's the image she portrays.
Yeah.
But I feel like she I mean, she had to play the game in the beginning and wear the outfits that she was told to wear and sing the songs that she was told to sing so that she could get to the point where she wanted to do what she wanted to do. So while that's an extreme case of it, you know, it's obviously an extreme case of it. But like, I do think that sometimes we do have to dial ourselves down a little bit to in order to I guess I hate to use the saying fit in, but to a certain extent fit into where we need to go so that we can get the credibility so that we can be the unique
But is that something that's equally expected amongst men and women?
I would say probably more for women than it is for men.
But do men who stand out, are they like Mavericks and Vanguard? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's like a certain pressure amongst women to like, fit the mold.
I think that
absolutely.
In some respects, men are expected to be more like in a box than women are, because like think about
different box, different shape box.
Because like men, think about clothes. They can't choose what kind of clothes they want to wear. They have to wear they all wear the same thing,
right?
And in terms of like,
I think
displaying emotion.
I think who Chris
they're
is
not
inside
allowed
is cargo
to,
shorts. That's who
right.
he is on the
But what I'm saying is they're like at work, men wear button-down shirts and like that's it. I can wear all kinds of different
and
things.
no pants.
Just button down.
Sarah, I think there's something weird about your office. I'm just saying.
Not even panties. No.
Got a
like,
problem
and they're
at your
not
office.
allowed to display emotion or like, for example, like when I gave Christmas cards this year, all the women were like expecting, like, yeah, that's sweet, but I get cards all the time. The men were like floored. Like they were like, this is the best card I've ever gotten. Like,
wow.
Because like they're not used to that. They're not allowed to accept or display emotion. Anyway.
Right.
No, I think that's valid. I think that's valid. My other question is like, if you are going to conform to an ideal, what if your conforming is no good? Like, what if you can't fit in the box? What if you fitting in the box is just a poor imitation? Like, I feel like Tanya's over the top costumes were her attempt to fit in the mold. Yep. And it was just not possible for her to be that.
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. And that's why I say like her coach was the only one that seemed to try to give her some guidance, but also didn't, I don't know, maybe this is just the way it was portrayed in the movie, but it didn't seem like she was pushing her too hard with that. But I do think
it seemed very caring.
Yeah.
Like she was really the only mother figure that she had.
Mm-hmm. But I also feel like you're absolutely right that her attempt at her costumes, literally, like she was giving it her most genuine effort.
She's like,
she
this
really
is my
was trying.
princess. This is as princess as it fucking gets.
And this is pretty damn princessy. Like,
she's like, have you seen all the bows?
Is there enough tulle?
Exactly.
Should I add more?
I mean, she she sobs in the locker room afterwards and just says like, but I was pretty. I looked pretty. And like, she's trying so hard. She's trying so hard to imitate what she sees and just can't.
I think the cool part, the interesting part was when she was sewing the pink outfit and was asking about the tulle, and I was like, that looks so cute. She's gonna look so great. And
yet, don't put that bow on there.
Don't put the bow on there. But when she was out on the ice, I was like, ooh, she looks so out of place. It looks completely different on and out on the ice. It was very.
It looks very good on Jeff.
Yeah, it did.
It looks good on
Jeff.
Yeah. It looks like we're back to you, Jackie. Do you have something on your list that you'd like to tackle?
I mean, we've kind of somewhat talked about it, but like I'm gonna kind of bring it up.
Yeah.
So, we tear down people like Tanya Harding.
Yeah, we do. We punish them for being different and not as shiny as we want our stars to be.
Exactly. And then we, they become a has-been and they become the butt of jokes, and you look at some of the people that we've done that to that have then died and stuff like that, and then everybody mourns them. And it's kind of like we tear people down and push them into like these horrible parts of their lives sometimes. And why? Like, why do we do that? And it's just kind of
that's a big one.
The controversy of like America's attitude towards class and gender and appearance and why do I'll take somebody, for example, like a Whitney Houston. Okay? Tragic that she died the way that she died. But let's face it, everybody made fun of Whitney Houston back in the day for being a crack addict and all this stuff. She was the butt of jokes.
Addicted to drugs.
Yeah. She really was. So was Michael Jackson, too.
Yeah.
He was a butt of jokes. And then when they die...
And also what child molester.
Yeah. Exactly. That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's really... Yeah. Okay, so we'll take him out of
it.
We'll go back to Whitney.
Yeah.
But, you know...
Whitney Houston, not a child molester.
No. Just a crack addict. Just a crack addict.
But, like, everybody was so mourning her and, you know, and it was like... But y'all made fun of her for so long, you know? Like, it's just... And that's the thing that bothers me sometimes with our world is that we tear people down for our own gain. And we make fun of them.
It's like this. It's almost like this mob mentality of like, picking on the weak. It's like something that happens in schools. I see kids
Lord
do
of the
it.
Flies.
Yes.
Yeah, where it's like you don't want to be the one who's getting picked on, so you join in with everybody else to pick on the one that's being picked on. You know.
Exactly, but I mean, it hurts. Like,
I don't. I don't do that.
I don't know. You're
only assholes kind of do that.
Right. You know, but like she did become the butt of jokes, and then she went and she became a boxer. Yeah, which is it's cool. I mean,
which I feel like people still made fun of that. They were like, "Oh, now she's a boxer. Ah, look at her get her ass kicked." You know?
Yeah. And then and then sometimes you see them on reality TV shows, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. I as much as like to a certain extent, like I feel like you make your choices in your life, and you know the choices you make result in a lot of things that will become positive or negative for you.
Yeah,
when you're in the limelight like that. The world can be a vicious place.
I definitely don't want fame. Like I obviously, if I did, I probably would have made different choices, I guess. But I would like to be working enough that like I want to, Atlanta famous might not be bad. I could deal with Atlanta famous, but I would never.
Famous.
Huh?
ITP famous.
Yeah, ITP famous. Just like, definitely not outside the perimeter.
Yeah,
just
no, I don't want them knowing who I am.
I'll tell my dad to forget you.
Inside the perimeter. But I would I don't think I could handle the scrutiny of I just don't think I would have the strength to handle the scrutiny.
Yeah.
Nope.
Of you can ask Hillary. Whenever we get a troll, I'm like, Hillary, deal with it. What do we do?
Yep.
Somebody said, did you see it? Get rid of the troll. I don't have the strength. It's like I become reduced to that little kid who got bullied, in middle school, and I can't. I don't have the.
And I'm Tanya Harding.
Emotions.
Right.
Yeah, I'll go deal with it.
Tanya,
go
please
get the car started again. I'll be
Tanya,
back.
please take care of it. Cool. Okay. Hillary, you got something on your list?
I mean, well, along those lines, like I thought that along the lines that we were just talking about, I thought her ending sort of monologue, I guess, was like interesting to talk about, and I thought that her comments about like becoming a punchline and it was like being abused all over again by you.
I mean, felt a little violated by that, where she was like, because of you. And
it
I'm like,
hurt though.
I mean,
but it's kind of true. And then like that scene of her eating the lean cuisine, like pulling it out of the microwave while Letterman is talking about the top 10 things Tanya Harding would have done or whatever. It was heartbreaking to watch that. It was heartbreaking to watch just an ordinary person who like, that could easily be me if I was actually good at anything, Well,
you'd be eating pizza rolls.
I know, I would be. But they'd still be coming out of a microwave. I'd still be.
You don't even. Do you even have a microwave?
No, I don't own a microwave.
They would be.
I don't. They'd be coming out of my toaster
out of the oven. Pizza rolls,
kind of like the ones we have in front of us.
Right, the ones we're eating right now.
That's so funny.
Yeah, no.
In a way, it's kind of like a little bit the anonymity of the internet, and that people will just say any cruel thing to anyone on the internet and not really think about the fact that that person's at home eating a fucking lean cuisine while they're reading that mean tweet.
That
you wrote,
and, like crying at their kitchen table over
right.
it. Yeah. But it's not just a tweet; it's David Letterman talking to half of the country.
Yeah,
it's a lot more than just a mean tweet.
Hey, Twitter's important.
It is.
Which brings
make or break you.
the social media thing, because say for instance David Letterman was doing the top 10 this in this day and age, and let's say the whole Tonya Harding thing happened nowadays, she would have a platform like a Twitter or something like that to respond to it.
But I have a feeling it would have been a goddamn clusterfuck.
It would have been she shouldn't be responding to anybody.
It would have been a garbage can fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I know, but it's just kind of like in those days, though, like someone would go out on television and make those comments, and like you did was
you couldn't rebut it.
You
just sat there.
Well, she had the press conference, and we didn't really talk about that, but they made her apologize.
Yeah.
Which do you like? So there's a scene where she comes out, and we don't hear what she says because that's not really the important thing, so much as I think it to the movie. Yeah. I think the important thing is to see her. It's almost like humiliating. It's humiliating to her to stand out there and apologize for this thing that she doesn't feel like is her fault. So should she have had to apologize? Did that help or no?
I don't think it did much for her, honestly. I don't. Yeah. And the other thing is too is that even though I don't necessarily think that she had what her level of involvement I still think is in question, obviously, but I also don't think she ever shows any remorse for it either. Like, not once during that movie is she
she doesn't. She doesn't.
Poor Nancy, that's an awful thing that happened to Nancy,
I mean, she's like, well, that wasn't what we discussed.
Yeah,
I mean, that was kind of her
who
attitude.
does that to their friend? That was the only thing she said about it. Was who does that to
their
friend.
Was so clearly faked. Yeah, the fake thing. It was so fake what she said. The character, of course. When she's like, who would break their friend's knee? Who would do that? What kind of person would do that?
Why was that so clearly fake?
I felt like she was. I thought the delivery of the line was that she clearly didn't believe it.
Like, it's in the middle of a scene and she just goes, "Can I just say something about Nancy Kerrigan for a second?" And then she just goes on this thing about
we were friends.
We roomed together.
And
blah,
we see
blah,
shots
blah.
of them like shotgunning beers in a hotel room.
Right. Like shotgunning beers and smoking cigarettes. And then she's like, who would do that to their friend? Bash their friend's knee in. And it was just like the way it was delivered, it wasn't what was going on in the film. It wasn't very genuine. Misleading. It was very like, by the way, just like, since you kind of brought it up, let me just interject this. I'm innocent because.
Yeah. No, you're right. There was no remorse there.
And even when I was a kid and I remember watching it, I don't remember her ever feeling like she felt bad for her, you know? So I don't remember that, but.
Yeah. But also at the same time, I kind of understand I can't think about this right now. I'm trying to go to the Olympics. What I care about is the game that I'm trying to play. And I didn't bust her knees in. Yeah. My only crime, I mean, and this is again, it would be her point of view. My only crime is that I made a poor choice of a husband, and that he went out and decided to do this thing. That's my only crime. I'm just here to skate, and so I kind of understand that point of view, but it definitely doesn't make her look any less like the bad guy,
right? For
sure.
Right.
But I think that was her chronic problem, was not being able to uphold whatever image was expected of her.
Right.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I have that we haven't discussed, or not completely discussed, but the breaking the fourth wall and what that does for the film.
Mm-hmm.
And if I feel like a lot of it infuses humor into the film, and does the humor aspect work? And what does it do? What does breaking the fourth wall do for how we view the characters?
Well, first of all, with the humor, I think without the humor, this would just be a sad fucking story. A sad fucking story about a person who was poor and kicked their whole life and kicked some more. And so I think without the humor, it would be difficult to go through. And also maybe there's a sense that Tonya Harding has a sense of humor about herself in a way. Yeah. I don't know, which seems like a movie that has humor would make more sense. Right. That if you were doing a movie about Nancy Kerrigan, it would be super dramatic.
Yeah.
And she would be perfectly backlit at all times with the hair light.
I had heard that there was humor in this, and I was like, ooh, how is that? Is it going to make light of it? But I don't think it makes light of it. I don't think it makes light of it. I think it just gives you some relief.
Yeah, I think so.
Way. Yeah, I think it was funny in a very intelligent way, in a very creative way, and I think it broke it up very nicely. I mean, you're watching her get the shit beat out of her, and then somehow you'd be laughing 5 seconds later.
Yeah,
I think that it's not funny in a traditional way. It's funny again in like kind of a Coen Brothers way, where it's like that's darkly funny.
It's very Coen Brothers.
Yeah, the humor is based in the sort of the quirky. Like I feel like Sean could have been a character in a Coen Brothers movie.
Absolutely,
you know.
Definitely.
So I think it's darkly funny in a way that the humor is based in the quirkiness of the characters and the hopelessness of their situation in a way. Like there was no way this could have gone any better in a way.
No,
you know.
It was like as soon as she was born, it was like this was her destiny.
Yeah, life was just destined to be shitty. You're never going to have a fur coat. You're always going to have a coat made of dead rabbits.
Yeah,
right.
That's as good as it's going to get.
But I liked the fourth wall because, as you were saying earlier, the trust factor that you had with them. I mean, it was kind of like when they broke the fourth wall. You're like, okay, now I'm about to hear some bullshit.
Yeah,
kind of thing. You know, because it was constant. You know, oh, it's not my fault because of blah, blah, blah. Let me just explain this real quickly before we get moving on. You know, that's kind of, and that's how I felt with Tanya. That's how, and especially Jeff, because they had him like sitting up against a window or something like that.
What were all those pictures back there? Did anybody else get distracted by the pictures? I'm like, who are those women? They were pictures of women, right?
Yeah.
So who are the like? I hope there's some notes somewhere about the production design choice there. I was like, wanting like who the fuck are those women in the background of this shot? Okay. Well, I think let's wrap it up here, and I think the last question I'd like to ask is, what do you think that this movie leaves us with? Like, what are we left with at the end of this movie?
The coach did it.
The coach did it. It was the coach the whole time with her beautiful perfect hair, her Karen Carpenter hair.
I don't know, I was left with this feeling of like just like America's war on the poor continues.
Okay.
You know, like this girl who finally found her way out, and like it was all sort of just taken from her. Not unfairly, but it was in a way kind of unfair. I don't know.
Like nothing, no consequences for them almost.
Sort of consequence, but not that.
She didn't hit her. She didn't. What did she do? She just was.
Well, we don't really know.
We don't really know what she did.
But also, like, to strip her of the only thing, like, it seemed extraordinarily unfair to put all of that on her. Like, I mean, that's a life sentence to take away the one thing.
I just felt it was very classist. And like in the end, like it to me, it was like very stark.
I mean, like, I don't know. Should she have had
just
some
felt bad for her
punishment? Maybe. I don't know.
I think she should have had some sort of punishment. I mean, she was still party to a crime. She knew it went on, and she still covered it up afterwards. Like that, and that is what she was tried for. Was covering up a crime that happened.
Right.
And like,
but what if she was left in the Olympic, or what if she was left in the figure skating federation or whatever it's called?
But
like,
would it have been any better for her if she had been left in? Like, would she?
Well, at least she could have kept skating.
But and would it's not just the Olympics. The scores?
It's not just the Olympics, though. There's a whole slew of other events you can't compete
those
in.
Scores. Like the people in that competition in Maine still weren't giving her the scores. That's the first time we see her go and approach the judges. You know,
would she
like,
also not be allowed to skate in like shows?
Yeah, stuff like the.
I think they banned her from everything.
All of it. Yeah, that's the thing is she couldn't even make a living skating as like a has-been skater in a show. Like she couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
So it just seems like maybe that could have been modified in some way. Like you can't compete in the Olympics, but you can participate. I don't know.
Go ahead and be in the ice capades, or like dress as the mascot for the hockey team,
or whatever. Right. I don't know, but it just seemed like given that those guys. I mean, Jeff, what did he say? He did 18 months. No, he did 8.
8 months in the end, but he was sentenced to 18.
Right, but he only did 8.
But he wasn't representing the United States in the Olympic Games.
Yeah,
that's the difference, and it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate, but I mean,
it seemed unnecessarily cruel to me.
To me too. I felt like she lived a very cruel life that sort of wound up ending in a way that like. What else?
Well, I mean, that's what. Yeah, the movie does leave us there. Like we don't really have it. I mean, they give us all the little
that she's very
text
happy
at the end,
whatever,
but we don't.
Kids.
Yeah,
but
we don't really get a sense of that.
I don't know. I kind of got a sense, especially at the boxing match at the end. I kind of got a sense that she was going to pick herself up and she was going to get on and she was going to be okay.
I think that was the imagery they were giving us for sure.
I definitely got like she's all bloodied and she's got her ass kicked and everything like that. But she's Tonya Harding. Like she's a tough chick. Yeah, she's gonna. Obviously she was crushed from the fact that she couldn't skate anymore, but she was gonna figure it out at some point.
Yeah, I think that's. I think that life beats you up and you get and beats you down and you get back up again was definitely one of the things they were leaving us with. But I do think that they they held on the blood spot. Like they held on the blood.
Did.
So it wasn't like the camera went up with her and like we're gonna get back. Yeah. It's like it's like almost like the aftermath was the thing they wanted to leave us with. That like the aftermath of getting the shit kicked out of you was kind of like what I felt left with.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer if you really think about it.
It's kind of a bummer.
I left feeling completely sympathetic towards her, and I don't even think she should have been punished because based on what I saw in the film, she did cover up the crime, but I was putting myself in that position. I'm like, if I had been abused the way she was abused by my mom and my boyfriend like my whole life, and I was like afraid of him, and would I have done anything about it, or would I have just been like, thank God it's not me who got
and they're all kind of dumb. I don't know. Is that too much of a pass to be like, maybe she didn't
I would have
realize...
done the same thing. Like if I had been in her situation, I don't know if I would have done something about it.
But it doesn't justify it. You know, I'm not saying I wouldn't have reacted in the same way, but it doesn't justify what she did.
I'd like to think I would have. Well, she does go to the FBI.
She does.
According to the movie.
Is it because she doesn't want to get roped into any more of Jeff's bullshit? Or is it because she actually feels like she needs to go and confess?
Well, in the timeline of the movie, it seems to be when she figures out that they had something to do with it. When she realizes that... I mean, I don't honestly know why it took her that long to figure it out, but maybe she does. But it does, according to the movie. Again, we're just talking about the character. It seems to be that she goes to the FBI once she figures out that Jeff was connected, and she's like, "I'm going to tell them everything now." So, yeah,
I just feel bad for her.
I do. It's sad. I mean, the movie was very funny, but like, it definitely did not give you like, I don't feel like it gave you a happy ending. I don't think that was the point. No. I mean, they try to kind of smooth it over in the text. They're like, she wants everyone to know she's a good mom. And then I'm like, that's nice.
I thought that was interesting.
But also now I'm thinking about her bad mother again.
Well, but it didn't say everyone... she wants everyone to know. It says everyone wants to know if she's a good mom.
No. It said she wants everyone to know she's a good mom. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it's almost kind of like, well, just...
At least I did this thing right.
I did this right, and I don't beat up my kid.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I got out of that. But I just thought that was very interesting that they put that note in the film. Because normally when you see stuff like that, you see, you know, and she's a mom to a 7-year-old son kind of thing.
But also, it wasn't like they said, and she's a great mom to a 7-year-old. They didn't say that. They said she wants you to know.
And I
like the movie isn't willing to take on the responsibility of passing that judgment.
Yeah. Right. And Nicole was there. I actually said out loud, I was like, how could she be?
Right.
Like, how could she, coming from what she did, how could she be a good mom?
She's had a lot of time between now and then.
I know people who have had grown up in abusive homes or neglected homes that are good parents. I think it can be done.
I think it's totally possible.
Absolutely.
I think it's difficult. I think a lot of people do end up continuing that cycle, but there are people out there who they're not gonna do that.
Yeah, actually, my mom is an example.
Yeah, of that. Like I'm thinking of people in your family who have had some rough upbringing, and they're great parents.
So okay, I'm wrong.
Yeah. So the point is, Sarah's wrong. Welcome to what we're calling This Is a Test, which is our new... It's not a new segment. It's an old segment, but we're now giving it a name and some intro music.
This is a test, or this is just a test, or this is
not a test? I think This Is a Test sounds nice and clean.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, you get too many words in there and people like lose interest, and all they hear is "This is just," and they're like, I don't know what comes after that. So this is the part of the show where it used to be just us going over the Bechdel test, but we actually have quite a few tests now. So let's start with the Bechdel test.
Okay.
Does this film have more than one female character?
Yeah.
Yep.
Do those two female characters have lines?
Names.
Yep. Names.
They have names.
They have names. Do they speak to each other?
They do.
Yes.
Do they talk about something other than a man?
Yes.
They do.
Yeah. This movie very easily passes the Bechdel test.
Early on, too.
Yeah. Okay. So the Bechdel test.
Mm-hmm.
Does this film have any black people in it?
None.
Nope.
okay, so that's the end of that test. Literally no black people. No black people in this movie. Apparently there were no black people living in Portland in the 1990s.
Nope.
And so...
Or in any of the other places that they traveled to.
Detroit.
Or what they had film clips. Were there any... O.J. Simpson was in one of the shots.
O.J. Simpson was in some like newsreel footage. Yeah. He certainly didn't have any lines.
That counts. I'm just kidding.
So yeah, this film does not pass the Blackdill test.
Nope.
Blackdill test, a creation of Jasmine Waters, one of our former guests. So it doesn't pass that. We also have a third test created by Topher, which is the Mojo test. So when Topher Payne was on the show, he created the Mojo test. Does this film have a character that is older than 50?
Yes.
It does. And the actress is older than 50. I went and checked. She's 58. Does she have lines?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think part of the criteria was also, does she kind of have like a story of her own?
Yeah.
She does. There's only one that I mean, there's also like Sean's mother,
coach,
but
too. I wasn't sure how.
That age, but not,
that's a good point. I don't think she was in. Well, I guess
over the course of the
You're right.
Film.
I don't think that actress is in her 50s.
I don't think so either.
She might. I don't know.
I don't think she is.
That's a good point, though. There were two.
And they did talk to each other.
They did talk to each other. So I would say that the bonus question is: are there two women? Not that should be a bonus question, but it seems to be a pretty hard criteria to fill.
And what's his face's mom too?
Sean's mom, yeah, but she didn't. I think have a whole. I mean, she didn't really.
She was just there.
She was really just there for Sean to be Sean's mommy and bring him pizza rolls.
Yep. Exactly.
Pizza rolls, sponsor of this podcast. Just kidding. I wish. I wish. If you want to sponsor us pizza rolls, we will
take it.
We will take it and we'll eat them at every fucking recording.
Yes, we will.
So to sum up, and I think maybe we can make a nice graphic.
Like
we can put up a little check thing that we put up every month for funsies.
Sounds like a thing we can do.
So this film passes the Bechdel test. It passes the Mojo test. Does not even come close to passing the Blackdill test.
Yes.
That's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of the Feminine Mistake podcast. This month's special guest, Jackie Costello, is one of our favorite Atlanta actors. And you can stay up to date with what she's up to, as well as check out her beautiful work as a model. She's got some really incredible photos on her Instagram. Seriously, she's a fucking goddess, you guys. Follow her at JMCostello14. That's JMCOSTELLO and the number 14. We've got a new sketch show coming up. The next Critical Crop Top live sketch show will be on the 11th, 13th, 18th, and 20th of May at the Highland Inn Ballroom. Tickets, of course, will be on sale at our website, criticalcroptop.com/tickets, and more details to come, so stay tuned. Hey, download the Thea app for your phone. There's a ton of great stuff on the Thea app. It's a new content platform. It's profiles Atlanta artists and content creators. You can find work from people throughout the city doing comedy work, musicians, documentary style work. There's all kinds of stuff on there. So go and check it out. You can also find us. You can watch all of our videos and web shows, including our latest Vera's Workplace Sensitivity Training Series right now on Thea. So download that for your phone. You can also check it out if you've got an old desktop computer, an old Apple II set up, and you can just connect to the World Wide Web. You can also view it on the internet. The name of the content platform is Thea, THEA. Check us out there. It's just a channel for us called Critical Crop Top, and you can see all of our videos there and a lot of other great stuff. So check it out. This may be our last episode on I, Tanya, but you can continue the discussion with us on social media. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Feminine Mistake Pod and on Twitter at Fem Mistake Pod. Be sure to come back next week when we'll be debuting our new Lady Bits format with a topic on women in film. Till then, send your nervous breakdowns and love letters to femininemistakepodcast@gmail.com.